My client, Robert, came to see me about 2 or 3 months ago. He had been diagnosed about 3 or 4 years ago with a subdeltoid bursitis. He'd been kicking a footy around with some mates and had a shoulder injury, and then noticed that it wasn't getting any better at the time. And he didn't really do much about it for a long, long time, apart from get the scans to confirm what it was. And then he had a couple of subsequent cortisone injections. He had never really had any kind of massages or even gone to the osteo or any sort of, so coming to see me was, I guess, a change for him. I think he got to a point where he was kind of sick of dealing with it. He likes to go wakeboarding, and he just was getting, sore, and actually just wanted to look into it. So he came and saw me, brought his scans along. I think he'd had another cortisone injection about a year ago, and a refresh of scans confirming that it was still there. And so what I did for him was we kind of worked out that we needed to do a bit of a combination of approach of looking at some exercises, so strengthening some of the other muscles in his rotator cuff, and then also some actual hands-on treatment. So with a bursitis, it's actually an injury that we have a few bursitis all through our body, in our joints, but we have them in our shoulders as well. And so what burses are is they're little fluid-filled sacs that actually help to make joint movement and sort of reduce the friction. And what can happen is that they can become really quite inflamed. And because they've got nerve endings in them as well, they can actually really be quite painful. So I've seen people have issues like this, that goes on for quite some time and be really quite debilitating. So regarding Robert, we got to work, and he'd never had dry needling before. And we really sort of got in there and just released a whole heap of trigger points all through his rotator cuff. And he just started to notice a huge improvement in his range of motion. So he was really struggling to move his shoulder out to the side, sort of much up from the 90 degrees. And he was able to get, right up to the 180 after a couple of treatments, and a mix of cupping and massage techniques as well. And he's been coming weekly for the last couple of months, and he said he's feeling a lot better. We're still working on trying to get him to do the exercises, but the intention's there, and I've given him some. So we're looking at more kind of isometric holds and things that aren't going to aggravate the joint any further. So, yeah, that's a good news story in terms of a treatment.